I'll just ask you a question in a moment, Paul. We've just got a little cut number 2, the process of declaring bankruptcy in America and how that works.
I declare bankruptcy!
Is it really as easy as that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did in Speedcast.
So just let me ask you, Paul, the way I understand it, in that sort of what we would call the VA period, what are the upside and what's the downside of having the actual the directors in control instead of an accounting firm?
The advantage, I think, of having a debtor-in-possession system is that you keep management who know the business, who've been running the business, and can keep sort of, to the extent possible, business as normal. So you do have that sort of continuity. You also sort of avoid some of the debate about who's to blame. Our sort of regime, our creditor regime, is very focused on sort of who's to blame. The external administrator comes in, and one of the key duties is to investigate who caused the collapse, their actions available against them. You have that in a debtor possession system as well, but it's not really the focus. The focus is on how you turn around the business. And because it's a court-driven process, there's a lot of lawyers, and ultimately it's quite expensive.
Can this sort of framework, lots of lawyers and lots of going to court, can that work with SMEs?
Well, I don't think it would work on a pure Chapter 11 process in Australia for SMEs, just purely because of the cost. And I think that's a major challenge. But look, I'm going to sort of take a slightly controversial stance, and I've in preparing for this, and I'm not as learned on Chapter 11 as perhaps what Paul is, but I saw a very good quote, and it says that the process repeatedly has been shown to produce too few rehabilitated companies in the long term. It's very expensive, and it takes a long time to administer. Now, that's a quote that was framed out with Chapter 11. It's fair to say you could draw that same conclusion regarding our own insolvency laws, the voluntary administration process. And so what is clear to me is that regardless of whether it's a Chapter 11 or our own process, we do need to consider in the Australian sense, and I think the government needs to consider in a relatively short period of time what we can do in order to assist SMEs. And I don't think just necessarily reverting back to business as usual under the voluntary administration regime is the first choice. It may be the only choice that we take, but it shouldn't be the first choice. We should be looking at other ways in which we can do that.